Good morning, students. Students, let continue our chapter, The Enemy. Today, the page number 29. We must simply tell them that we intend to give him to the police, as indeed we must. When the situation was, when both of them, they were unable to throw the man into the sea. They were not able to put the man back to the sea. Then they decided, now only one thing is left, that we must carry this man into our house. And when Dr. Sadao said that, what about the servants? We must simply tell them that we intended to give him to the police. We shall just tell them that our intention is what? Our intention is to hand him over to the police. As indeed we must, Sadao, as indeed we must. We must think of the children and your position. So Hannah simply said that if they will ask something about this person, so we shall simply tell them that our intention is to give him to the police, and actually we are going to do so. Moreover, we are to think of our children as well as your position. It would endanger all of us if we did not give this man over as a prisoner of war. It would endanger all of us if we did not give this man over as a prisoner of war. If we shall not do so, means what? If we shall not hand him over to the police, then it would become a difficult situation, or it would be a problem for everyone, or we can say that all of us will be in a fix. Certainly, Sadao agreed. I would not think of doing anything else. And then Dr. Sadao also agreed, and he said that I would not think of doing anything else. As you are saying, it is my opinion also. I cannot do or I cannot think anything else. Thus agreed together, they lifted the man. He was very light, like a fowl, like a bird that is kept for its meat and eggs, that had been half starved for a long time, until it is only feathers and skeleton. Means the person was in critical condition and he was very light in weight. So his arms hanging, they carried him up the steps and into the side door of the house. This door opened into a passage, and down the passage, they carried the man towards an empty bedroom. Now they took the man inside the house. It had been the bedroom of Sadao's father, and since his death, it had not been used. So that was the bedroom of Sadao's father, where they kept the man, or you can say where they kept the enemy, or where they kept the POW. They laid the man on the deeply matted floor. Everything here had been Japanese to please the old man, who would never in his own home sit on a chair, or sleep in a found bed. So, whatever was inside the bedroom, all the things of related to the culture of Japan, okay, he was very simple man. Dr. Sadao's father was very simple and a true patriot, I would say. Everything here had been Japanese to please the old man. Everything, whatever it was inside the room, they were made in Japan, I would say, and the things which pleased that man, they were there. Who would never in his own home sit on a chair or sleep in a found bed. Hana went to the wall cupboards and slid back a door and took out a soft quilt. Slid means to push back. And took out a soft quilt. Just like blanket. She hesitated. The quilt was covered with flowered silk and the lining was pure white silk. Why was she hesitating while giving quilt to the doctor, or you can say for that POW? Because he was in rags. He was totally wet. So she was thinking that if I shall give that quilt, definitely it will be ruined. He's so dirty, she murmured in distress. And she was in distress. And she's saying he's so dirty. Yes, he had better be washed, Sadao agreed. Sadao did not understood. Why is he saying that he is so dirty? Hana was thinking of the quilt and doctor said yes, he had better be washed. Because somewhere in his mind he had decided that he will look after this man. He is going to operate him because he was shot by the bullet. If you will fetch hot water, I will wash him. And Dr. Sadao said that if you are able to give me hot water, I can wash him. Hana, I cannot bear for you to touch him, she said. And Hana replied that I cannot bear for you to touch him, that you are not going to touch him, I am telling you. We shall have to tell the servants he is here. I will tell Yumi, and she can leave the children for a few minutes and she can wash him. He said that I will ask Yumi, she can leave the children and she will wash him. But you are not going to do so. Sadao considered a moment. Let it be so, he agreed. He said, okay, it is fine. If you can tell, you tell Yumi and I will tell the others. But the utter pallor of the man's unconscious face moved him first to stoop and feel his pulse. But the utter means sudden, pallor means pale color on man's unconscious face moved him first to stoop and feel his pulse. So before Dr. Sadao could leave, he looked at the POW. His face was a little bit yellowish in color. Then he stooped and he took his hand and then he started feeling his pulse. It was faint, but it was there. It was faint, the pulse was faint. It means it was too slow, but it was there. It means the man was still alive. He put his hand against the man's cold breast. The heart too was yet alive. Then he put his hand on his chest and he felt, yes, the heartbeat is also there. He will die unless he is operated on, Sadao said, considering. He said that if he will not be operated, then definitely man will die. The question is whether he will not die anyway. Because he is a doctor and he had given the training that you are to save the life of the patient. The question is whether he will not die anyway. Hana cried out in fear, "Don't try to save him. don't try to save him. What if he should leave? See, it's saying, don't try to save him. If he's dying, let him. What if he should leave? And Dr. Sadao said, what if he should die? He stood, gazing down on the motionless man. This man must have extraordinary vitality, or he would have been dead by now. It's saying, this man must have extraordinary vitality, or he would have been dead by now. Extraordinary vitality means extra power. That God is willing here to save this man, otherwise he could have been dead by now. But then he was very young, perhaps not yet 25. You mean die from the operation? Hannah asked. And Dr. Sadao said, yes. Hannah considered this doubtfully. Means the purpose of Dr. Sadao was to say that if he will not be operated, he will die. Hannah considered this doubtfully, and when she did not answer, Sadao turned away. At any rate, something must be done with him, he said, and first he must be washed. So before I can operate him, first he must be washed. He went quickly out of the room, and Hannah came behind him. She did not wish to be left alone with the white man. See the fear in Hannah's heart. She did not wish to be there alone with the white man. So when Dr. Sadao left the room, she also came outside. He was the first she had seen since she left America, and now he seemed to have nothing to do with those whom she had known there. He was the first. Who was the first? The POW. He was the first man, first white man Hannah saw after leaving America. And now she is saying that she had to do nothing with those whom she had known there. Here, he was her enemy. Either he is living or dead. He is a danger for them. She turned to the nursery and called Yummy. She turned to the nursery and called Yummy. But the children heard her voice, and she had to go in for a moment and smile at them and play with the baby boy, now nearly 3 months old. As she called Yummy, the children heard the voice of their mother. Now they started crying. So she went inside, she played with the baby, and then she came back. Over the baby's soft black hair, she motioned with her mouth, Yummy, come with me. Now with Yummy, she came out. I will put the baby to bed, Yummy replied. He is ready. He is ready here means he is ready to sleep. She went with Yummy into the bedroom next to the nursery and stood with the boy in her arms while Yummy spread the sleeping quilts on the floor and laid the baby between them. Now both of them, they came out. The Hannah led the way quickly and softly to the kitchen. The two servants were frightened when she was going back to that room where they had kept the POW. Then Hannah led the way quickly and softly to the kitchen. The two servants were frightened at what their master had just told them. What has been told by the master? That a POW is there in the house and he is an American. Okay. The old gardener, who was also a house servant, pulled the few hairs on his upper lip. And what do you mean by pull hairs on his upper lip? Means you are disappointed, you are frustrated, you are frightened also. The master ought not to heal the wound of this white man, he said bluntly to Hannah. The old servant, he told bluntly when very straight you can say when you are angry or without mixing anything. He told Hannah, the master ought not to heal the wound of this white man. The white man ought to die. First he was shot, then the sea caught him and wounded him with her rocks. If the master heals what the gun did and what the sea did, they will take the revenge on us. See, it shows that he was superstitious also. He's saying that the gun also tried to kill the man, the sea also, that if now the master will save him, definitely the gun and the sea, they will take revenge on us. I will tell him what you say, Hannah replied courteously. But she herself was also frightened. What to do? She is very obedient. She is also not in this favor that Dr. Sadao should save the life of that fellow. But she was helpless in this regard. Although she was not superstitious as the old man was. Could it ever be well to help an enemy? Could it ever be well to help an enemy? Nevertheless, she told Yumi to fetch the hot water and bring it to the room where the white man was. She also knew, she was also thinking the same, that it cannot be better or it cannot be good to help the enemy. Nevertheless, she asked Yumi to bring hot water in that room where the white man was. She went ahead and slid back the partition. Sada was not yet there. Yumi, following, put down her wooden bucket. Then she went over to the white man. When she saw him, her thick lips folded themselves into stubbornness. I have never washed a white man, she said, and I will not wash so dirty a one now. It means when she went there with the bucket too, Yumi I am talking about, she denied that I am not going to wash this white man. Hannah cried at her severely, you will do what your master commands you. She shouted on her that you must do whatever it is told to you by your master. There was so fierce a look of resistance upon Yumi's round dull face that Hannah felt unreasonably afraid. And when Hannah noticed that as I shouted on Yumi, she is disappointed, she disliked, so she afraid little bit. After all, if the servant should report something that was not as it happened. So it shows that there was some fear in her mind. So students, rest we shall discuss tomorrow. By the time you will underline the value points, you will write down the vocab, okay, and you will make 10 short question on this. Your question can be, your answer can be of one word or one sentence, not more than that. Got it? Thank you.